Do you feel like you're going to finish in this one? I'm going to go for it. I would love. Obviously, that'd be the best case scenario. Get the finish. I can see it happening. I can see it blowing the roof off. MSG taking out pound for pound one, number one with no doubts. Finish would be the dream.
Do you believe he might be able to stop Islam going up to this weight class?
Stop him now. I mean, look, JDM's boxing and pressure that he can do, incredible. So I definitely can get a finish.
All right, favorite team?
Islam's great. Him moving up, I still think he's a nightmare for a lot of the people in the division, but I think JDM can do it.
Jack Della Maddalena throws down a bold challenge to Islam Makhachev, daring him to score a knockout as the two prepare for their explosive welterweight battle at UFC 322 on November 15th. Jack Della Maddalena has issued a strong warning ahead of UFC 322, vowing to unleash everything against Islam Makhachev. Determined to secure a finish inside Madison Square Garden, he's eyeing a statement win over the former pound-for-pound king, one that could shake the entire lightweight division.
Do you expect Islam to try and strike with you, or do you think that his game plan might try and take you down?
It's hard to expect anything. I definitely feel like he will test the feet. I think it's going to start on the feet, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think he's going to try and mix it up. I think he's going to probably try and get on the wrestling early, I'd imagine. Looking back on the Bilal fight, he probably sees that Bilal's mistake was maybe not getting on the wrestling early. So yeah, I expect in the first round we'll get into some, at least some grappling exchanges,
He's going to come up in weight, your weight class. Do you feel like that's going to slow him down a little bit?
It's hard to tell. Sometimes the weight cut will slow you down. So I expect the best Islam. I expect more filled out, stronger. I feel like it's going to be the best Islam Makhachev has been.
Meanwhile, bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili sees Islam Makhachev as capable of capturing a second title when he faces Jack Della Maddalena. Though he respects JDM's striking power, Merab believes Islam's adaptability and fight IQ will give him the edge. He expects Makhachev to take lessons from the Bilal Muhammad vs. JDM bout and make the right adjustments. While acknowledging the challenge, Merab remains confident that Islam can walk away with the second belt.
Do you feel like you're going to finish in this one? I'm going to go for it. I would love. Obviously, that'd be the best case scenario. Get the finish. I can see it happening. I can see it blowing the roof off. MSG taking out pound for pound one, number one with no doubts. Finish would be the dream.
On the other hand, bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili believes Islam Makhachev has what it takes to secure a second title against Jack Della Maddalena. While he recognizes JDM as a dangerous striker, Merab sees Islam as a tricky, adaptable fighter who can adjust under pressure. He expects Makhachev to learn from the Bilal Muhammad vs. JDM matchup and come prepared with the right game plan. Although he admits it won't be an easy fight, Merab remains confident that Islam can walk away with another belt.
You mentioned Islam, he's moving up to 170. Do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains?
It's gonna be hard for him, but it's possible to Islam Makhachev wins the second belt. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling, and he's southpaw. He don't get hits, but he takes people down and he mauls people down. So, and also we all see the JDM Bilal Muhammad's fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight, and maybe Islam will make some adjustment. It's possible. It's gonna be hard, but Islam can win the second belt.
Max Holloway has urged fans not to underestimate Jack Della Maddalena, reminding everyone that despite being ranked second on the pound-for-pound list, JDM is often overlooked. Holloway believes a potential October clash would turn into a high-level chess match inside the cage, both thrilling and strategic. He warns that JDM is far too skilled and dangerous to be taken lightly at this stage of his career, adding with confidence, "I think he'd be just fine."
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, but people be sleeping on Jack, you know what I mean? And I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I think people is gonna find out when that match happens. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack for I don't know what reason. They just keep counting him out. Kind of reminds me of when I was like coming up and counting me out about certain fights. So I mean, he is, he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world right now, but he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world for a reason. So you gotta respect that. But don't sleep on Jack. I think it's gonna be a tough and fun fight.
Curtis Blaydes admitted he hasn't seen enough of Jack Della Maddalena's fights to fully judge his skill set, having only watched his last 2 outings. Even so, Blaydes leans in favor of Islam Makhachev, pointing to the champion's proven ability to adapt and overcome every kind of challenge at the highest level.
I don't know. I haven't seen enough of JDM. I haven't seen enough of his fights. I've seen his last 2, but I haven't seen enough. I'm still going to lean towards Islam just because I've seen him handle all issues, and he's had high levels of success in the past.
Israel Adesanya has voiced strong confidence in Jack Della Maddalena's chances, pointing to his size, power, and relentless pace during scrambles. According to Adesanya, Jack's aggressive striking pressure and physical presence could wear Islam down, especially if he stuffs the takedowns and forces Makhachev to stay on the feet.
And also seeing Della, and also I've only sparred Della once, like not really hard crazy, but and I didn't try and take him down at all, but I've seen him at your gym sparring, and his scrambles are crazy.
Yeah, he's good.
Even watching him with Bilal as well, and Gilbert Burns, his scrambles are crazy, and I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because when he puts some things on him, he's like, oh shit, I'm not standing with this guy, I have to take him down. And then he tries, gets him down, and he gets back up, or he couldn't get him down, because he's a big dude. People don't realize how big Della is as well. He's solid. So I really
dense,
think,
man, just dense.
Dense, yeah. Like when I felt, like I said, we're sparring, and then it's just a weight behind it, and the way he throws it, the body banging, man, fucking good.
Alexander Volkanovski echoed those thoughts, emphasizing Jack Della Maddalena's ability to remain active in striking exchanges, even when opponents shoot for takedowns. He pointed out that JDM's rising confidence, especially after victories over strong grapplers, positions him well to deal with the challenges Islam Makhachev brings.
Jack Della and what he did with Bilal is he will, you get people that are worried about the takedown, so and then they don't fight their fight on the feet. I'm gonna fight my fight and worry about the takedown when it's there.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. You need to be like that. For me, like with Islam, was like, I'm going to do my thing. Yeah, I'll be worried about it, but at the same time, find the shots to go in, boom, boom, boom. But I'll worry about the takedown when they're there. But I'll still commit to things. Later on, once you
realize you can handle it, then you were just like, fuck this shit, I can handle it.
And the confidence Jack Della is going to have now from getting through that, even though he's going to be confident. And then there's another one when you're successful with guys that are very dominant there. When you have the success there, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you end up even that much better at the takedown. And then he's going to do a lot. We're actually going to get a bit of training in and that as well. Like obviously he's going to do
over there.
Hey?
You going over there?
He'll probably come over here, or maybe we'll get we'll see. I might even go over there, whatever they want. I'm happy to do whatever.
I'm just so happy, man. I'm so proud of him.
Meanwhile, Gilbert Burns voiced his support for Islam Makhachev's decision to move up to welterweight, pointing out that the cut to 155 pounds had become too draining. He praised Islam as one of the most talented fighters in the sport, but admitted that Jack Della Maddalena poses serious challenges. Burns also highlighted Jack's access to elite training partners like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski, which he believes could make the matchup far more competitive than many expect.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proven himself. He's number 1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think, and JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Robert Whitaker also shared his belief that Jack Della Maddalena has the right tools to defeat Islam Makhachev, even while acknowledging his own personal bias. He highlighted Jack's frame, underrated grappling, and unorthodox striking as factors that could make things very difficult for Islam. Whitaker stressed that taking JDM down won't be easy and pointed to his sharp boxing punishing body shots, an ability to land clean from awkward angles as weapons that could cause serious problems.
Why does he beat Islam in your opinion?
I'm biased as heck.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see the fight playing out very much like it did with Volk, okay? But Jack's bigger. Jack's he's a little bigger. He's got a different frame. He's a hard dude to try and hold down. And I think his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. He has good jiu-jitsu, which means it won't be free. The takedowns won't be free. Being on top of him won't be free. Not to mention, Jack has really good hands, and if he can keep it into that mid-range, into that distance that he likes, make it awkward. He's very good at not only punching straight lines, but punching up. So his hooks, his uppercuts, he mixes it really well. He works the body, which makes it harder to shoot on. You know, I think there's enough angles there to give Islam trouble.
Ian Gary admitted that it's tough to predict exactly how Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena will unfold. While he praised Makhachev's well-rounded skill set, Gary pointed out that moving up in weight adds an extra layer of unpredictability. He emphasized that Jack is naturally bigger than Alexander Volkanovski and combines strong takedown defense with elite striking, making him a genuine threat, even if Islam enters the fight as the favorite.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does. Going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley described Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena as a highly anticipated fight, but he believes a future showdown between Makhachev and Topuria could generate even more hype. He credited Islam's victory over Belal Muhammad for building excitement around the JDM matchup and added that if Jack defends takedowns effectively and lands clean shots, the momentum could quickly swing in his favor.
At Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive, made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt, who gives him that?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilya versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
Charles Oliveira described Jack Della Maddalena as a dangerous opponent due to his patient and calculated approach. He highlighted how Jack systematically dismantled Belal Muhammad, but expects Islam to lean on his wrestling. Oliveira noted that the fight's outcome will largely depend on whether JDM can defend takedowns while consistently landing significant strikes.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazer a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
Philip Rowe expressed full confidence in Jack Della Maddalena's ability to secure a win, arguing that Islam lacks the size to dominate larger welterweights. He highlighted Jack's punching power and his ability to recover quickly from takedowns, suggesting that these attributes could overwhelm Makhachev. Rowe even predicted that JDM could finish the fight before it reaches the judges.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chillin'.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight, you've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop at Islam.
Moano also weighed in on a potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, describing the matchup as evenly balanced. He acknowledged Makhachev's elite grappling and strength at lightweight, but pointed out that moving up to welterweight introduces new challenges. Moano explained that Islam will need time to add size, build strength, and adapt to the power of bigger opponents, making it fair to view the fight as balanced rather than favoring either fighter.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, you know, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just looks so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
Javier Mendez also shared his thoughts on the potential matchup, admitting it's difficult to say whether Jack Della Maddalena would be Islam Makhachev's toughest test. However, he made it clear that Islam is eager for the challenge. Mendez praised Makhachev's skills and relentless work ethic, while emphasizing that Jack would be stepping into a level of competition he hasn't faced before. He added that welterweight could be an ideal fit for Islam, allowing him to maintain size, strength, and intensity in the division.
So Islam versus JDM, I think they probably should be even, you know, because even though Islam is a good grappler, he's big for 155. He's moving to 170. We never know, you know. I think he needs to take some time to work on to gain weight, to gain power, you know, to gain strength. So that's why the odds are even, and I think they should be even.
Craig Jones weighed in, suggesting that Islam Makhachev could be facing one of his toughest challenges yet. He pointed to Islam's first fight with Alexander Volkanovski as an example of how scrambling against elite opponents can expose weaknesses. Jones added that Jack Della Maddalena presents an even bigger threat with his unorthodox grappling and unpredictable grip-breaking ability. In his words, this is going to be an extremely difficult fight for Islam.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either, so he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Craig Jones also highlighted that Jack Della Maddalena's creativity makes him far less predictable than more structured fighters like Belal Muhammad. He pointed out that Jack's size could further unsettle opponents, adding to the challenge. In Jones's view, the matchup has all the ingredients for a thrilling stand-up heavy contest, exactly the kind of fight the UFC would love to showcase.
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like, obviously he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Belal struggled with. Belal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well.
Sterling expressed strong confidence in Jack Della Maddalena, predicting a dominant performance from the Australian. He suggested the fight could even overshadow the hype surrounding a potential Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria matchup. Sterling highlighted Jack's height, reach, and precise mid-range striking as major challenges for Islam, who may struggle to close the distance or secure takedowns. Unlike many of Islam's past opponents, JDM wouldn't be undersized, removing one of the champion's key advantages.
In what Belal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that. So I think like Islam, the size, difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help them out, even though potentially enemies.
Do you feel confident about this one?
Very, very confident for this one.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
Do you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. It's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against them either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.